Morning. Let's talk about money. It's early. Money buys happiness. Or it could pay someone to take your cat away. It's messing with your camera. Stormy, baby. Please let me work. Come on now. Oh. Okay, I have her occupied with a toy. It's Friday. Oh, so good. For me, that means my store opens this morning at 10, and I've worked for 2 months on this. And it means tomorrow is the second Saturday of the month, which means live streaming video. And I get to say hi to you guys again. So that's what I'm doing. What are you doing today? I think more of you are taking time off work lately, it seems. Yeah, that means less income, doesn't it? Are you worried? The thing is, though, we've been gaslit, for so long to not want money. Money is the root of all evil. We hate rich people. I understand a certain level of rich people. They got rich on the back of us and other people's labor, and they're not paying taxes. But rich to me just means I can pay my bills and have money left over to go on vacation. I don't have to take a calculator to the grocery store. That's rich to me, 'cause I've never been rich. But the thing is, you know who says money doesn't buy happiness? People who have money. And then those stories of homeless people that are actually happy and content, they get blown up in the media. See, money doesn't buy happiness. You don't need money to be happy. So here's the thing about that. You don't need money to be happy. You can find a sense of peace in where you are. And it depends on how you've got your life set up, because we were all born into this system of indentured servitude, where our labor is the commodity and we have to pay to put food in our mouths and a roof over our head. So escaping that system and getting to a point where you've learned to actually create a life for yourself where you don't need money took a lot of work, or it took a lot of pain and things that happened to you before you finally settled into your sense of peace, And, I catch shit for selling stuff on Etsy or selling merch or whatever, and people call me a charlatan or a scammer or whatever. Because that's just been told to us that if you're doing something like education, like they're paid poorly. Or spiritual work, healing work. You don't deserve to earn money for that. You shouldn't earn money for that. That makes you a scammer, whatever. Like, where did that come from? Where did that come from? Because that's corrupt as fuck. That's horrible. And our ancestors didn't have money because we lived in these little small communities where we bartered and traded what we needed. And then a couple of times a year, we went to the big gatherings, central locations, where all of our tribes came together for ceremonying and bartering and trading and taking care of business and the political structures and marrying and all that stuff. But, you know, if it's too small of a community, you're not going to be okay. You need a large enough community to support you all. Otherwise, everybody's just working and working 4 and 5 jobs and everyone's just subsisting together. And you don't need money, but you got a pretty bad quality of life. But once you get to a large enough structure of a society that you can barter and trade and everyone's got a job and a role to play and you don't suffer, so that's perfect. But once you grow past a certain point and you need to barter and trade, it gets harder and harder to not have some kind of a currency or a token that you can trade amongst yourselves. That's a placeholder, you know? But if you don't have money, if you are constantly worried about a roof over your head, about shelter, about food, like, we weren't supposed to live like that. And when we did live like that, we didn't live like that alone. If the entire tribe or community had a famine, everybody was struggling and suffering together, and it didn't feel personal. You weren't just isolated. You know, it wasn't an attack on you or some narrative about how much of a failure you are. Like, everybody suffered together. If the meat went bad, if spring came early, and everybody had to figure out a way to get food again and hunt again when there were none nearby. If you didn't have enough the year before to save enough plants and medicine, everybody suffered together. And today, we live so isolated, and everybody's like, you've got to do this on your own. Now, where the fuck does that come from? What the fuck is that? This is such bullshit. We weren't supposed to do this alone. That's why people behaved themselves in the past, because the worst punishment would be banishment from the colony or the tribe, because you can't do it alone. We are a cooperative species. We evolved because we have such great needs. It is a hungry business being human. If you saw my 8.5 gram psilocybin, we have a lot of needs because we are a high need animal, because we are a high production animal. And the only way we got there was cooperation, division of labor. So this isolating everyone out into their separate homes and saying figure it out and nobody helping anybody, like, it's fucked up. And then when you put people in a society like that and then tell them money doesn't buy happiness, that is some serious gaslighting bullshit. Money absolutely buys happiness. It buys you peace of mind and know that you have a roof over your head and food and good coffee. That your children, if you have them, are okay and they're going to get their needs met. That you have reliable transportation to gather the things that you need for your life, because not everything's within walking distance anymore. You need to be able to know that you can continue to grow your intelligence, your capabilities, and your skills so that you can continue to better your life. And that's just barely subsisting. I don't know anyone who's happy still just barely subsisting. Yeah, there's some relief of anxiety, but that's not happiness. And while happiness, you don't be happy every day all the time. There's a form of happiness where you're content. And it's so hard to be content when you're struggling for just the basic things that you need. Because our ancestors, it wasn't normal to struggle. There were times, but it wasn't normal. Money buys you the peace of mind. And then it can buy happiness. This makes me insanely happy. I don't have a lot of needs. I'm a really simple person. And very small things make me extremely happy and content, and I just look at them and they make me happy. And I don't need to own things. Like, I know people that will let me borrow things that make me happy. But they had to buy those things. If I had the money to buy a plane ticket right now, there are some collaborations that I want to do that would make me so happy. That's happiness. Money buys happiness. It does. It buys you happiness up to a certain point of wealth. And then when all of your needs are met and you can buy everything that you want, and you have 2 or 3 or 4 houses in every country that you want it to be in, when you can buy any new thing that you like, that you see, you can start any new hobby, you can start any philanthropic foundation and nonprofit and run it and put people in place so you don't have to run it, and you can rescue animals and give to every cause that you believe in, and you're still disgustingly wealthy. Yeah, eventually you're not happy anymore. You get bored. But you know what? I wouldn't. You know why? Because it's about mental health. Because I know I can be content with none of those things. Because I know that money can't fix a relationship. It can't make your child okay if they're strung out on drugs. It can't give you your youth back, but it sure can go a long way toward that. But it's just a matter of time. The wealthiest people die. I understand how wealthy people can get like that. But listen, it's the people that are saying that didn't do their due diligence on their mental health before they got their money. I think their mental illness drove them toward becoming that wealthy. And because they didn't deal with their mental health issues, they realized the money didn't fix it and make them happy. Nothing can make you happy if you have issues, if the world has been gaslighting you because you're neurodivergent, or your brain works differently, or you've had mental health issues so you couldn't function the way you should at school or to hold a job, and then you felt ashamed of yourself. Like, that shit is not your fault. So when you learn to embrace yourself and accept yourself, when you finally get your anxiety and panic attacks under control, when you find a level of mental health, you really do learn what's important so that money does buy happiness. And then if it came to a point where you were disgustingly wealthy, those things weren't what's making you happy. It's the value in it. Like the collaborations would make me happy because of what it would be moving between the two of us, and then I would be bringing to you. And it would be raising the vibration of all of us more. I would be happy during the experience of it. But when I got home, I wouldn't get depressed because it was over. Because that's not why I did it. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, once you know who you are and you've struggled and suffered your whole fucking life, and you get rid of the depression or the panic, and then you do what you need to do to get rid of bad situations and bad circumstances and bad people, when you do that work on your mental health and you get to a point where you can actually hold a job and earn money and keep a roof over your head, or find a commune, or find a situation where you don't need the money, that lack of having to fight for your survival is fucking happiness. It's peace. Money buys happiness. And most of us don't have it because the system is designed that way. So don't let the wealthy tell you money doesn't buy happiness. It absolutely does. And don't let anyone gaslight you into calling you names because you earn money. However you earn it. Short of physically harming another person or animal, however you earn it. Money's not evil. And there are no certain conditions where you should or shouldn't charge money for any labor or service or good. The only reason money doesn't buy happiness for the wealthy is they didn't do their due diligence on their mental health. If you are struggling to make ends meet right now, if your job sucks, and most people are quitting their jobs and living off unemployment, or they don't have unemployment and they're not okay. I've been there a lot. I have been there most of my life. It causes anxiety because you weren't supposed to suffer and worry about keeping a roof over your head or where your next meal was going to come from for very long. These are truly fucked up times. And I don't have any answers this time. Not over this cup of coffee. This morning it was just to say, you know what? It's not your fault. And these are really weird times. All right, I'm gonna go do some last minute stuff to get my store open. I'm very worried. I've never spent this much money on stuff for you guys, and it's scary. I have a lot of emotion invested in it. And I'm giving away stuff. A really cute Amanita bottle and temporary tattoos, and I'm doing Zooms with 20 of you. If you want to enter for all that, just go to my website and put your email address in. And my live is tomorrow. If you've got a good cup of tea, coffee, if you've got medicine in it, I understand that needs to be enough right now, and I understand it may not be, and that's okay. But the fact that you're listening to this means you've been doing some good things and some right things to get yourself to a point where you're here, you're awake, you can pay attention, and you have a device in your hand, even if you borrowed it. That is some level of accomplishment. Speaking of money, if you got any to spare, toss some in my coffers, help me pay for that website. Bunch of new shits over there. If y'all haven't seen it, go see. I've uploaded a lot of new videos at amanitadreamer.net. And the next one that lands Saturday, the 11th or 12th, whatever, June 11th, June 12th, 2021, is me doing Soma. I'll sit right here and do it. That was some crazy shit. If it's after Saturday, then it's already up. You should go watch it under I Do in Theogens. It's on my website because YouTube censors it. All right. Let's start this day. Chop, chop. Shit to do. People to love. Places to go. I love you, beautiful people. Have a good day.